hit the button, and I just want to let everybody know that this is Coldwell Banker George Realty Alhambra, and this is for the benefit of Coldwell Banker agents only, and anybody that has permission to distribute it. Other than that, it's just our own personal comments, and there's a lot of people coming. I'm very happy and excited to see Gary, to see Steve Hayashi, to see Wei Lee, my goodness, and Jessica, and Franco Ramirez. So it's very nice that we all decided to come into the meeting. They know that Dan Spiegel was coming to speak to all of us, and so that's why they got all excited, Dan.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Hi, Steve. Nice to see you.
Yeah, maybe you should come more often than Dan. You have such a
well, you know, my mom would love me to visit Arcadia. She lives, she's 88 years old. And so pandemic notwithstanding, I should get out there more often.
Good.
Yeah, probably nobody knows the tennis than Arcadian.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a Cal, Steve? Is that a Cal shirt you have on there?
Cal's? Yeah.
I'm looking at a sweatshirt. I just said I went to Cal, so I'm feeling very.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. Awesome.
So Steve is wearing it in your honor.
Huh?
I said Steve Hayashi is wearing the Cal T-shirt for your honor.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so smart. You know, it's my kid.
You know, we have our Steve, our owner in Seattle. His son is a freshman at Cal right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Bob Fredrickson, his son just started at Cal.
Yeah, my kid already graduated from the school with the CS, and he's working in the Silicon Valley.
Awesome.
Well, Dan, I'm going to introduce you as the Coldwell Banker connection to us, but you're going to tell us all your title. You know, I know that you are just one heartbeat below the CEO of Coldwell Banker. And so you run the Coldwell Banker commercial division. So
that is correct. That is correct.
And let's go ahead and start the meeting, and I'll let anybody that is coming in late to the meeting, I'll let them in, and you have permission to share the screen if you have to. If not, just go ahead, Mr. Dan Spiegel. Good morning.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon here, but good morning there. As I said, I'm in Chicago. I'm originally, as you were hearing, from Southern California. I grew up in Arcadia, just a couple miles from that lovely building at Baldwin and Huntington. So if you need a little Arcadia history, just let me know. It was a quaint little town back then before the mall was built and all. But anyway, great to be with you this morning. I'm going to share, I will share my screen in 1 second here and talk about Coldwell Banker Commercial. I know some of you, I know Steve from his top two performance, I want to say, I get confused on years now. That must have been 2019 or 2018. I saw you in 2019. I can't remember now. But on behalf of the Coldwell Banker team, congratulations to all those of you that have won awards in the past that contribute to the Coldwell Banker commercial brand. And I think is that Kathy Wong, who's Kathy on the screen? Yes, I think Kathy, if that's you really Kathy Wong on the screen, congratulations to you for being a Circle of Distinction winner for 2020. This came out, so a round of applause for Kathy on that. All right, so on that note, give me 1 moment here to share my screen, which is this one.
And you know what I'm going to do, Dan? I'm going to mute everybody for the noise, and then you can unmute yourself.
Okay. I hope I can. All right. So can you see and can you hear me?
Okay, unmute yourself. There we go.
We can see you and also hear you.
Okay, there we go. Unmuted myself. All right. Well, thank you again, Cesar. Let me go through. I'll go through our presentation here. Feel free to unmute yourself. It's kind of hard for me to monitor the chat at the same time, so feel free just to speak up if you have any questions. But welcome to Coldwell Banker Commercial, George. And so it was Alhambra, Arcadia, and you had one other office?
Went to Hills.
Went to Hills. Okay. Well, welcome. Nice to be with all of you today. So I will, okay, there we go. So I'm going to start out first of all, and I think you don't want to see this. So let me shrink that. There we go. So I'm going to, first of all, I just want to start with one important thing coming up. So coming up is 2 events. Normally we have our CBC Global Conference. I'll say normally in any year except 2020 and 2021. Hopefully it'll be back in 2022 in person. It's generally in March of each year. But we've broken it into 2 events this year that I certainly hope you'll participate in. One is the CBC Celebrates events. That's going to be March 18th, 3 to 4 Eastern in the afternoon, in which we'll be announcing our top 5 producers in the country, top by specialty, our nomination award winners. And if any of you want to give a shout out to anybody on your team that did something exceptional this year, there's an opportunity to record a short little video. And we'll be sharing them at different points during the presentation. So that's our award celebration, which we typically would do at Global Conference, but again, we're going to break it into a separate event on March 18th. And then second to that will be our Global Conference, our theme of Be Pathfinders, echoing our Pathfinders mission, which I'll mention in a moment. Global Conference will be on the following week on March 25th, 1 to 3 Eastern time. It will be a combination of some brand information, speaking 30 minutes with the chief economist of Moody's, the investment banking firm, and Reese talking about commercial real estate in 2021. And then we will have 4 breakout sessions like we did for the fall summit, if any of you were able to attend, on different topics. So they're professionally presenters. I mean, they're learning sessions, they're networking sessions, they're active, and that'll take place in the second hour. And if you want more networking, we'll be breaking into a happy hour networking in the evening, where we will divide up by new to CBC, industrial, office, women in CBC, a couple different categories we'll break out so we can network. And if you register, you'll get a free happy hour box to share a cocktail or a non-alcoholic drink with your peers. So just put those dates in the calendar. Have any questions? All this, by the way, is in our private Facebook group. I should have mentioned that as well. If you're not a member of the private Facebook group, Coldwell Banker Commercial, please ask to join, and then you can see this stuff amongst other things, as well as it's shared on CBC Desk. All right, so I touched on it a moment ago, just a quick refresher here. We have our own mission within Coldwell Banker Commercial, because obviously we're selling something a bit different than the residential brand, but our mission is Pathfinders, helping our brokers run great businesses and helping our clients achieve outstanding outcomes. We have 4 core values that we rolled out at the Global Conference last year. I won't get into detail, but they're do right, win together, big-hearted, and ownership mentality. And we try to echo these values when we do promotions of people and deals and things that happen. We've had some great win together stories this year of opportunities for commercial transactions that have closed that were teed up by residential agents. So to the extent, I don't know if you have stories like that too, but we actually, our best success in only a month or 2 months into the year was a $23.5 million sale in South Florida. That was an opportunity identified by a global luxury agent that brought in a commercial agent, and they sold a 2-acre parcel for $23 million in South Florida. So that's our best story year to date. But there's lots that's just one example of win together, but these are our core values that we like to resonate in whatever we do during the year. In terms of our presence, I think most of you, hopefully you know this, but you're part of close to 2,700 commercial professionals across Coldwell Banker Commercial in the US. I don't have the count, frankly, for outside the US. But that's our count in the US, across multiple countries, many companies, and having won a number of awards. Our brand awareness is super strong. We just are finishing some brand awareness surveys right now. And needless to say, I'll give you one quick little story that I've been in commercial real estate now for 30 years. And my mom, who I was referencing in Arcadia, she's a former physician. My father was an engineer. They never kind of knew what I did, because I worked for Colliers and I worked for Grubb & Ellis, which is now Newmark. And 2 years ago, when I joined Realogy and Coldwell Banker Commercial, she finally said, "Oh my God, a company I've actually heard of." So our brand awareness in real estate is super strong, both on the commercial and the residential side. And I think that is definitely one of our selling points when it comes to working with clients. And we're expanding. So nice to talk to you guys, our established Coldwell Banker and Coldwell Banker Commercial Company, but we've added a number of new offices this year. Las Vegas just became a Coldwell Banker Commercial, the premier company which had residential, expanded to a full commercial division. I want to say it was in the last 6 months. Flagstaff, Arizona came on last year, Des Moines, Iowa. We added an office company in Atlanta, and we just, as of 2 weeks ago, opened in Rochester, New York. That we're not done. We have a couple more openings this year. So our presence is coast to coast, and the good news is we're growing. And that's not necessarily the case with our other peer brands that are in kind of the space that we're in, but we're doing quite well. And just in terms of doing well, just keep this in your back pocket. So Real Capital Analytics is probably the premier firm when it comes to real estate trends, both in the US and globally. And they do those trends based on transaction data, right? So they look at transaction data both in the US and overseas and point out to all kinds of trends in commercial real estate. But we were ranked at the end of the year 2020, number 20 or top 20 of all firms in the US doing commercial transactions. So these are transactions valued at over $2.5 million, wherein we represented either the buyer or the seller. And it's quite a good kudos. I mean, this is out of 1,500 companies in the US, we are number 20. So, as you're pitching business or talking to people or talking to your clients, I think it's something to really stand proud from. There is no other brand. Obviously the large commercial brands are in there, but we are right behind NAI, or excuse me, right ahead of NAI, right next to SVN. So the brands that are closest to our business model. But there is no mention of KW or Berkshire Hathaway or any of those other companies that say they have a commercial division. We're the only one that's reached the top 20. So thank you to you, all of you that have closed deals in that size range, because you helped us get there. In terms of things that are new, and I'm just jumping around, so please feel free, as I said, to unmute yourself and ask questions if you want to dig deeper on any of these topics. But all of you should have access now to CBC Desk, right? So there's CB Desk and for the residential space, and there's a CBC Desk for the commercial space. So this gives you access specifically to our CBC commercial tools. So it is customized. So you see just the things that are appropriate for commercial, for those of you who are commercial. It's also where our announcements, our brand report, what used to be called the brand report is now called CBC Briefing or Commercial Briefing. All the news items appear. It's not necessarily organized in the way we'd like it, so we're going to do some rejiggering of the organizational categories, but it is accessible and it's all things commercial there. So build out, access to research forms that you want to fill out, Blue Mail, demographics, email signature, widgets, things like that are all available to you on CBC Desk. I think there's messaging, and oops, I was trying to get to the message box, but I missed it. Does anyone have a question? Let me just see if is there a message? I can't see if there's a message, so
No, I was just putting that, so there is no confusion. My CB Desk is for residential agents.
Correct.
www.cbcdesk is for commercials.
That is correct. That is correct. It would have cost us about $10,000 to have a My CBC Desk. So we said, hey, we'll just call it CBC Desk. And that actually helps a little bit because it just, reminds people of which direction they're going.
Dan, one of our commercial agents, Steve Hayashi,
yes.
Had a little trouble getting into the CBC Desk last week. I think it's last week or this week, Steve.
Yeah, I don't.
And and so I was wondering whether what happened, whether he was not given the authority or the permission to join the CBC Desk, or what? Maybe you can insight on that.
I'm not sure what day it was, Peter. So I would definitely say for Steve, go back and check again. There was something identified that began the beginning of January that, I don't want to get too technical here, but it interfered with the auto single sign-on that you would have once you're signed in. And I believe it was Monday of last week that it was fixed. So I don't know if that was Steve's specific problem, but I do know a number of companies there was a hiccup. Don't ask me the technical behind the scenes, but there was a problem with a number of people logging in because of the single sign-on. So I think it should be fixed. So Steve, check again. If not, please let Matt Kornfein know, or you can send it to me and I'll send it to Matt and we'll get it resolved.
Yeah, actually, I checked it as of last afternoon, yesterday afternoon.
Yesterday afternoon, Steve? Okay. So Steve, just do me a favor, send me a note and I'll have someone look at your profile just to make sure that it's set up correctly. But the good news is we've had very few issues until this little hiccup, which was a technical hiccup. So Steve, or if anybody else is having issues, just let me know and I will get the team on it to double check. Or Lisa is on the call as well. So Lisa can direct the help there.
Yeah, I tried to log into Dash and the Dash say I'm not authorized.
Okay, it may have just kind of be a behind the scenes setup to your point. So Steve, I know you're authorized, Steve. I'll just have to figure out why you don't have authorization for this particular thing.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, and then obviously you'll click through to all the resources, as is it Blue Mail, Build Out, and so forth. All right. One of the things we've added, like you have for those of you that do have access to the residential desk, we added CBC Brand Serve. So this allows you to have the different social assets and brand assets that, in the past you would have had to go find on Blueprint and download into PowerPoint and do your own customization. This allows you to do it sort of on the fly. So I don't think all the templates are up there, but a lot of them are. So we'll cover the social templates and things like that in a moment. For example, the award-winning templates are either up there or will be up there shortly. So you can customize those on the fly and then use them for your own purposes. It's not a replacement for Build Out, right? Build Out is our production tool, if you will, for marketing materials, offering memoranda, and so forth. But it does make it a lot easier for people that don't want to mess around with the PowerPoint and other software in design to develop their custom assets. All right, so they will continue. There's many materials up there now. It'll continue to be up there, but that is new for CBC since we did not have that in the past. And then Build Out. You get access to Build Out from Desk. Hopefully, I don't know, I can't see hands here or anything, but Build Out is, we're not the only company that uses it, but we have our own customized branded version of Build Out. We've added templates all year long. We added a updated offering memoranda template this year. We added a team template this year, I believe. So if you have any suggestions, if you are a Build Out user, when you're preparing your marketing materials or pitch materials and you want to, and you think you have an idea to make it better, please let me know, let Lisa know, we'll get it to the marketing team and we'll evaluate it as our effort to improve our Build Out product. It's widely used. It's super easy to use, hopefully, for either you or an assistant. And it makes your marketing materials look custom and also makes them look, solidly branded Coldwell Banker Commercial, and any prospect or client will feel very proud for marketing their property with Coldwell Banker Commercial. We've added this year also in terms of research. So I mentioned a moment ago, Reese Moody's as being our speaker for our global conference. I think I mentioned that. It may have been on a prior call, but anyway, their chief economist will be our speaker on our global conference event. But in addition, we have access to reports from Reese and Moody's on market conditions in different major markets like Southern California. We can run company-specific reports with D&B Hoovers if you wanted to know about a company, if you wanted to know competitive trends in an area. For example, we had a broker in Texas that had a client that wanted to open a liquor store, a custom, like a liquor barn kind of liquor store, and they wanted to identify all the competitors in the market and their sales volume. Jane Thorne-Leeson, our research manager, ran those for them. We have LexisNexis to look at some of the credit history of companies and prospects. So they're all tools that are available through CBC to you by filling out a form or working with Jane directly. And then on the demographic side, I know, Steve, you used some of this. I think Jane worked with you on a senior housing asset, if I remember it, a few months ago. But we have access to the full suite of Esri, which is the leading demographic product out there for particularly used for retail, but also used for other office and industrial as well. But it can help with site selection, cannibalization studies, as you see here, trade areas, mappings, anything you'd really want to know about people and profiles of people in a geographic area. Esri is available upon request through Jane. There is also a self-service product for demographics available through CBC Desk as well. And then also this year we added, or it was this year, it was just last month, we added a product called Retail Lease Track. Retail Lease Track, if you have a shopping center, for example, that you are leasing and you have some vacant spaces and you want to understand what kind of retailers are expanding into the Southern California market that are food related, and I'm just going to make it up here. Retail Lease Track tracks all the different retailers, what their targets are, what their criteria are, and who the contact is. So Esri, Retail Lease Track, LexisNexis, D&B are all available through Jane Thorne-Leeson. I didn't put her number up here, or email, but Jane Thorne-Leeson. Jane actually relocated from New Jersey to Northern California, so she's on your time zone. There's a form on CBC Desk to fill out to get her, services, or frankly, Jane's very conversational. You can work with her directly, and she'll understand your need, and she'll match up the best product for whatever you're trying to accomplish. All right, any questions? I know, Steve, as I said, you worked with her on a senior, I think it was a senior housing project.
Dan, yeah. I have a question. Well, for all those research tools, such as LexisNexis, is it free to all the commercial real estate agents?
Yeah, good question, Peter. Thank you. Yeah, all these tools are free to you. We pay for them all. We don't have enough licenses to give to everybody, so that's why you have to work through Jane. But they're available for all you for free.
So we have to register with Jane?
Well, you have to work. Jane's the one that has the license. So there's either a form on CBC Desk you fill out with your request, or you simply email or call Jane, and she'll get back to you and she'll work with you directly.
Okay. Can you give us the contact information for Jane?
Yeah. If someone can type, let's see if I can get to the.
Yeah, I have that. I can email to you.
Okay, it's Jane.
Later.
Yeah, Jane, and then the last name is Thornleeson. It's 2 words, but in the email it's one. It's THORNLEESON, Thornleeson. So Jane.thornleeson@cbhomeoffice.com. I'll type it in at the end here as well.
Okay.
I'll also mention one other thing. Jane is our representative. I don't know how many of you are members of ARIA, the Asian American Real Estate Association, but Jane is on the commercial board, I guess if you want to call it that, for ARIA. We just a position she just started this year, but she's networked into that organization as well. We're trying to do more. They haven't historically had a really robust commercial group. They've made more of an emphasis, and we're pleased that we have someone on the board of ARIA to work with them and help build our connections within the Asian American community, as well as the commercial community.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment and a compliment on Jen. She is so helpful. She is so knowledgeable. And so, I've been asking one question for many people. Nobody can answer that until I ask Jen. And she realized, oh, yeah, I know what is that. Very smart.
Yeah, Jane is she's super. Thank you. I think that was Steve, right? She's super. And as I said, you can fill out the form. That's the formal way to reach her. But if you contact her, I saw Lisa put her email up there. I always say to her, and she loves it, she'll call you and just say, okay, what are you trying to accomplish? Let's talk about what your situation is. You have a parcel of land, you have a retail center, whatever it may be. And she'll work with you and say, okay, this product is probably best for that. And she's working directly with clients today. I mean, some of the brokers have introduced her to clients and helping them do site selection work and things like that. So yeah, she's great. And she's out in your time zone, which is kind of cool.
That's good.
All right. So let's see what else. Let's see. So intelligence. So we have also with Jane's help, but also, 2 things we do on the website. So first of all, let me just make a couple plugs here. One is CBC Worldwide is the commercial website. I will encourage you all, if you do not have a full profile, which I did notice some people in the organization don't, please, take the time to cut and paste your resume, so to speak, into the profile on CBC Worldwide, because people look for it. So make sure you have your full resume up there. Your properties that are listed obviously are linked to you. And then for California, make sure your Department of Real Estate license, I think, is filled out. I think that's a requirement of California. So just one plug on the side. We've been doing a number of upgrades to the website. There's more to be done, but we've certainly upgraded the content. So we have a variety of white papers that are up there. We have a 2021 commercial real estate outlook that we distributed starting the first week of January, I believe. But any of these products are there for you to use. We've had a number of brokers around the country, take the 2020 outlook, tease people, send out email blasts saying, hey, interested in CBC's insights, contact me for the report, things like that. And then obviously you can put your local spin on the report, because we are speaking nationally, you're speaking regionally and locally. But these are all out there to help you develop business. Second, there's a blog page on the report. We put up original content on the blog. I think it's every other week. And again, if you're active on social media, or you would like to, create your own newsletter, there's content here for you to pull from that's active on our CBC blog. Or if you have a particular topic that you think we should write about, or you would like to write about, please let us know. We're more than happy. I think the next issue tomorrow is going to be a guest written column by a CBC broker in Michigan. So we're more than happy to either partner with you or to highlight you. And then obviously you get exposure, and we'll blast it out to all of our social channels as well. We have over, just as you know, we have over 20,000 followers between LinkedIn and Twitter, which are primarily and Facebook, but LinkedIn and Twitter are the primary commercial channels. And anytime we share a property, I think for Steve, I think we shared a property, the deal in Temple City you closed at some point last year. That reaches over 20,000 people. So the blogs do as well, and I encourage you to use them for your benefit.
I think Jane's email address is over there.
Yeah, so I think Lisa typed it up there. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So templates, I think these are things that are up on BrandServe. Again, I encourage you to use them. We make them for your benefit. I will just point out a couple things. We don't have an example of it. The pitch book is new. That is something we did if you're trying to put together sort of like a capabilities brochure for you or your team. That is new up there as a template. It's not really property marketing, it's really team marketing. And there's something else that I just used yesterday, which is the placemat. I don't have an example of it here. I could flip to it if you'd like, but a placemat is, sort of 2 slides, if you will, that you use to discuss a property marketing opportunity with the client. So it's very simple. It guides your conversation. We've teamed up with Coldwell Banker in Iowa yesterday to pursue a listing with Transamerica Insurance, the former owners of the Transamerica Pyramid, on a very large $20 million opportunity, and we use that placemat. So I'll put that out there as well, depending on the kind of presentation you're doing. Certainly if you do it virtually, it really helps keep people's attention. And even if you do it in person, you can have 2 legal size sheets that kind of explain everything you're doing. So that's just one of the templates that's out there. But these are all there for you to use. And again, they're on the residential side as well, but these are all customized for commercial. All right. And then communications. I think we talked about some of these. We talked about the blog. You should be getting a CBC communication in addition to residential if you're on the residential list, otherwise just CBC. We've discontinued the brand report, which came out every other week. And now we're distributing it through CBC Desk, through the technology that's behind Desk. It still comes via email. We've started a podcast channel last year that we're continuing to build. Again, I'm always open to topics and people, business owners, developers, people that you think would be super interesting for us to talk to and might like the exposure of a podcast with CBC. We're always open to ideas on that. It's not internal facing, that's an external facing podcast. We have the private groups, as I mentioned, on Facebook and on LinkedIn that hopefully you're a member of because we put a lot of news there and like to celebrate new listings and deals done in our network. And the commercial briefing I mentioned earlier, that's what's coming out now instead of the weekly newsletter on Blueprint. So all these things, if you're not seeing them, let me know. Like Steve's issue with access to Desk, if there's some reason that you're perhaps not getting it, I'll have to look into it. Our team will, and we'll want to make sure you're getting all the latest and greatest news. And then the university, I think the last thing I'll touch on is a couple cool things. I mean, the university is there to help you be more successful. There are self-paced learning classes. There are learning classes for Peter and Caesar. If you hire new brokers who are newer to the business, there's a self-paced learning on commercial real estate. Twice a year now, we'll be conducting CRE Win. It'll start again, I think, in April. Those are for newer to the industry people. That's not a self-paced. That's an actual class that's conducted over 8 weeks. We had 35 students in the fall class, very high reviews of it. A great way, again, to get up to speed faster in commercial real estate. You have the access to the full LinkedIn learning library to learn a skill on just about anything. There is the Lipsy library from Mike Lipsy, who's a well-known commercial real estate trainer. So there's a lot there, all available through Commercial University, which you get to from CBC Desk. So it's different from the residential learning platform. It's the commercial platform, all out there for you to learn on. And to Peter's comment earlier, no cost. Everything is free, all the classes. And if you miss a class, they're all recorded, easy to get to, and easy to learn from. And one thing I will add, just this is fresh off the news desk, is we have the new app for Commercial University. So if you're on either Apple or Google and you want to check it out, there is an app now. We're the first brand in all of Realogy, so that includes residential and all the other Realogy brands. We're the first brand to have the learning app. If you're a younger broker or you have a younger broker working you, it has a tool called RE Scoreboard in which you can log cold calls and basically kind of track your success and your record and be held accountable to yourself or your mentor. That's out there. So if you want to grab the app, it looks sharp. You can sign up for our classes on the app, which I think is really fantastic. The learning library is also available on the app. So since most of us are working from anywhere and many of us work from our phone, the fact that CU is on the app now is really nice, kind of an innovative feature that the university has added. And Christina Carlino leads our learning group. So any questions about learning, go to Christina. And I think, oh, there's one other. Okay, so one other learning thing that we do, and I don't think I've seen any CBC George people on there. So I'm going to encourage you to participate. We have a call is it the 26th this Friday? I look at my watch here. It's a week from Friday, I think. With Jane Thorne-Leeson, we just spoke about, but these calls have been going on since April of last year, all different topics of marketing and real estate. They're called coffee breaks because we try to keep them kind of short. They're about 30 minutes in length, and we make them engaging. We make them fun. They're outside speakers. Sometimes they're internal speakers. As I said, last week we had Placer AI, which was an interesting, super interesting demographic tool for using with the owners of retail assets in particular. And then it's a week from Friday, will be Jane talking about in depth about some of the research tools I mentioned earlier. Free, 30 minutes. It's at 11:30 Central Time on Fridays, recorded, put on Commercial University. I think they're great opportunities for learning and networking, both about things in the industry and things that we're doing as a brand family. And let's see.
And where can we log in on these classes?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Where can we log in?
Yeah, the recorded, most of them have been recorded. They're on Commercial University, but you can join these classes you sign up in Commercial University. It'll say join, like if you want to join the one on the 26th, you say join. It'll send you an email calendar to put it in your email calendar, and then it'll send you a reminder before the call starts. And as I said, 30 minutes. If they're conversant, we'll go 45, but they're just simply there to learn and network. That's all they are. Anyway, and again, they're all like the interesting conversation with a cannabis company, a cannabis facility construction company about, how to represent the cannabis industry, either for industrial or retail, and what owners are concerned about. We had, student housing, cost segregation. We've had a lot of really great topics. And again, like I'll say earlier, always open to new topics. If you think there's a topic you'd like us to explore with an expert, outside expert, let us know and we'll check it out. We'll look into it. But these take place every other Friday, plus or minus avoiding holiday weekends, every other Friday, 11:30 Central Time, and sign up through the Commercial University. And then I think we've talked about this. I want to be cognizant of time. I can't see my watch at the moment, but I think it's almost half past the hour. But we have our networking events. So we talked about the global conference, with the vaccines and everything else. Hopefully we'll be back to having regional meetings. We had one, I think, when I first joined in LA. Oh, gosh, I want to say that was a year and a half ago now. But we're doing virtual meetups. We do a meetup every quarter. The fall summit was our fourth quarter event. In the summer, we did it regionally. So this quarter, it'll be our global conference. And the next quarter, we'll go back to doing a regional. So it'll be a Western event. We encourage you to join, participate, be actively involved, because you'll only get out of Coldwell Banker Commercial what you put into it. So we want you to be there. We want you to ask questions. We want you to meet other people. If you're looking for referrals, the best way to get referrals is make sure you're known. Make sure you're known within the network. So people know what you do, who your relationships are with, and that you're there to help them. And then if pandemic willing, if you will, or pandemic allowing, we will be at the ICSC events. There will not be a Las Vegas Recon in May this year. If any of you have done the retail event in the past, it's rescheduled for, I want to say it's December of 2021 in Las Vegas. We'll see what happens with that. We have participated in their regional events. And again, CCAM, SIOR crew, we are active and participate, pandemic allowing, in many of those events. And as I said, we're now active in ARIA now that we've engaged, and they're beginning to focus on commercial, and Jane is our representative in that group to build our presence within that organization as well. So I will stop there. I'm going to stop sharing so I can actually see you again. Lots of people on the call. There must be some questions. What questions can I answer for you?
Unmute.
If you have a question, raising a hand there. You got
yourself.
Yep, exactly.
Is that the area is AREAA?
AREA, AAREA, Asian American Real Estate Association. Yeah.
It could be AREA.
I don't know I don't know how many of you are or not members, but I wasn't familiar with it. I did a speaking presentation for them for the commercial group. I want to say it was November, and through that we got Jane to be on the board. That was great.
Dan?
Yes.
Most of the leadership programs, are they available to regular commercial real estate brokers?
I'm sorry, most of the
company, what? You know, the leadership programs that you mentioned, you know, like in Las Vegas and.
Oh yeah, those are that.
Once in a while you have those conferences.
Yeah.
Limited to the executive level or in a general commercial real estate.
Yeah. The internal events are open to all commercial people. So anything that we sponsor, I encourage everybody to show up in our, leadership, brokers, everybody. The industry events like ICSC are open up to any commercial individuals. And then we have a presence there. So Coldwell Banker commercial people can gather or have a booth, it depends on the nature of the event. Yeah. Some of them there's a cost to that the industry charges, some of them there are not. But they're open to everybody. And as I said, I always encourage people, please show up to our learning and our events, because you'll why not take advantage of it? It's available to you for free. And if you want to be known in the network, so you get referrals and you learn from other people, you got to show up. But,
it's amazing how much wealth of information available in the Coldwell Banker family. We should all take advantage of it.
Absolutely. I mean, I have, I'll just give it, I know because many of you work in the Asian community in Southern California. I just was working with a broker here in Chicago who has a property he hopes to get a listing on that he wants marketed to Chinese investors, for example. And I said, then use the network. I mean, you have, between not just the Georgia office, but throughout Coldwell Banker Commercial, you have many people that will have connections, right? So use that as part of your pitch, right? Make sure you make it known that if you have a property that your owner thinks is attractive to an Asian or a Chinese investor, use the network, make sure it gets out there in front of people, right? That's why you're part of a network, right? Because, without being a little bit different than the residential business, which is a little bit more of a self-made, individual business. The commercial business, it depends on each other, right? You want to do deals with your partners. You want to bring the right team to the table to win an assignment or get a job done. So it's a little bit different in that regard. And if you need help, for example, if, someone was working, Steve, I'm trying to think of a good mixed use development and said, I need someone who knows how to do mixed use development. I could say, hey, why don't you talk to Steve Hayashi? He did one in Temple City recently, right? And then, maybe Steve's connections or Steve's knowledge will be helpful. So a little bit different than residential in that sense, but I encourage all of us to be participatory, because without that, you'll never have those connections.
Yeah, I'm working on 3 right now.
Right. Last time I talked to Bob, and he said his the Coldwell Banker home office is working on something like a CoStar, with all the data, the information available to the Coldwell Banker. Is it still being on the?
We don't have a CoStar. CoStar won't allow us to have an agreement that we extend to independent franchisees.
Right.
We do, we didn't talk about it, but any property, Peter, that goes on Coldwell Banker CBC Worldwide, so you put it in Dash, if you're using Dash directly, it goes to the Worldwide website. It will automatically syndicate with a variety of other sites. So it'll syndicate with Crexi and Brevitas and OfficeSpace.com and RPR, right? If you're on the NAR site, you have access to RPR. So LoopNet is one that's owned by CoStar that will not syndicate because they won't take the syndication. They won't take it from us. Mm-hmm. But our goal is to make sure we make it as easy as possible for you to syndicate out your properties. And knock on wood, we'll have an integration with Build Out before too long. It'll probably take this year, but that way when you do a property and Build Out, you can automatically share it out as well. But yeah, I mean, those are, so we don't CoStar, we don't have an agreement. Jane has access to national CoStar, so she can't run things all the time, but she can help do research, as necessary. If someone doesn't have access, but that's available. It's available for free.
Dan,
I have a question.
Oh,
sure.
Okay, go ahead, Nick.
With thanks for bringing that up, CoStar. It's really challenging over here because I was at NRT.
Yes.
I had an account with LoopNet and CoStar. Over here, it's a joke. What's the deal? Are we going to get integrated in that plan, or because all we really got to do is just join it, right? Or is there more stuff behind the scenes? Company costs more money and stuff.
That's a question for local. That's not for me. Correct?
No, it's
what happened is the following, Dan. This is Caesar, Nick. The question is that we've heard that Coldwell Banker Realty or Coldwell Banker Old NRT Commercial have a master policy with CoStar, and right. They get it at a very inexpensive price, and we, Coldwell Banker George Realty, have to pay an unreasonable amount of money. I mean, it's big. I mean, it's in the 300s per agent, and so is there anything that we can do? And
got it. Yeah. So
like it's $400 a month. It's a lot of money.
How much is it for you?
400 almost, like 325 for LA, San Bernardino County, and Orange County.
320, right, Nick? You pay 320 per month. You pay 320 per month.
Plus,
yeah. 320. Okay. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I'm getting a little cutting in and cutting out here, so I apologize for that. But so Cesar, the Realty as a company has an agreement with CoStar, but it's not available out. It's not a CBC agreement. It's a Realty agreement. Yeah. CoStar will not allow us to take out an agreement and say, here, give it to everybody in the network. Trust me, we've had the conversation. We've tried. We've asked for discounts. They will not do it. But don't be misled that you think it's cheap. I think NRT's rate is like $310 a month or something. It's not cheap, if you will. It's not the advantage. I'm sorry, Nick.
It's more regions they have set up with NRT.
Yeah, so for $310 a month, they get the whole country. They get the whole country. Yeah, whereas in CoStar, although CoStar now I think only sells, so it's really a company by company decision. We have in an LA, CoStar is pretty important. In some of the smaller markets, their data is not very good, right? But LoopNet and CoStar will only sell to companies, not to brands, if you will. If that makes sense. Okay. So I can't answer. So Nick, the answer is really like, the George company has to decide how they'll approach it. We can talk about that. I can talk to the leaders about that another time.
Okay.
There's other things we have, for CCAM, there's discounts. For Crexi, there's a discount. For Brevitas, for the firms that will work with us, we actually get discounts for products. Other questions?
Dan, there was a question in the chat room that says here, is there a CRM available to CBC agents?
So that's a great question. The answer is no. We did at one time have a relationship with ClientLook. Kind of, some people liked it, some people didn't. Some people like RealNext. To be honest, there's not a great standard in the commercial business. I came from Colliers. Colliers uses Salesforce. Obviously, Salesforce is a very well-known CRM and very expensive. And there isn't really a consensus. We've talked about using, I don't know how many people on the residential side of your business use the residential CRM that CB offers. So to date, we have not. Let me just put it that way. I've started agreements and one person likes ClientLook, one person likes RealNext, and I would do it if I thought any of the products were great. None of them are great. The only thing I will tell you is when we finish our integration with BuildOut, there will be an ability to buy up to BuildOut's CRM, which is sort of a light CRM that's called BuildOut Elite at a reduced cost. That'll probably be later in the year. But if recommendation-wise, I find that it all depends on how you use your CRM. Everyone is a little bit different when it comes to whether that CRM is effective or not, or which ones they like. Probably
yeah, I'll chime in on that too, Dan. As far as the Zap CRM goes on the residential side, you're exactly right. It's to the extent of how much an agent wants to use their CRM and for what purposes. Zap is basically, it is exactly what it is, a CRM, a customer relationship management system. So if you just wanted to use it for that purpose of contacting your clients, sending out your own drip campaigns, you can curate Zap to work for commercial. It's just not going to connect with your transactions directly, which 99.9% of agents don't do on the residential side either. So you could use our existing CRM for that purpose. It's just not going to be as robust. And as to Dan's point, there isn't really one on the commercial side that's as robust as we would all want.
And I'll just make one other comment. In the many years I was responsible for CRM at Colliers and other firms, the number one thing I think is brokers think, I turn on a CRM and suddenly I make money. The number one thing about a CRM is you have to shift your entire business to using the CRM to make money. It does not make money by yourself. You have to do the data entry work. You have to log all your calls. If you have it and never touch it, it doesn't do a thing for you. And I've seen so many people waste money on CRMs that they don't end up engaging with. But just a 2 cents opinion there.
Good point.
Yeah, if you buy a CRM and then you don't shift your business to run your business off that CRM, it won't add any value to your life. You'll be doing email, it'll be more work. You'll be doing email here and there'll be CRM here and you got to run it as a holistic package. So more importantly than what CRM, it's use the CRM if you choose to have one. All right, any other questions? It's been great to see all of you. I know I have a takeaway from Steve to figure out why Steve doesn't have access to CBC Desk, so I'll remember that. Lots of other faces on here. I hope to get to see you in person or hear from you. Again, feel free to reach out to Lisa, to myself, to Matt Kornfein, who may have presented to you in the past, to Jane Thorne-Leeson. Our team is very much available. So you don't have to go through a emissary to get to us. Reach out to any of us and we'll make sure you're connected with the person who can help you. Peter or Cesar, do you have anything else to add or any other questions for me?
Dan, I have a ticket open for Steve.
Say it again. Okay, I think I missed that, but okay.
I don't know who you were trying to, I just said I have a ticket open for Steve. So if you want to.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
I'll reach out to you if I need it.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
And it's really a pleasure to have you talk to us today. And I hope we can have you back in the future, to upgrade us with the development in commercial real estate and,
absolutely
really good information today.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Peter, I'm happy to be here. Anyone on my team's always happy to participate. Because I want you to get the value out of it. I want you to know what's available, and I want you to everyone to produce more and do more deals. Mm-hmm. And that's our goal. And as I said, be it with the resources of CBC or networking or whatever or learning or anything, we want you to be productive. So we want to help you, and we want to share in your success. So be in touch. We're happy to work with you.
Yeah, we in Coldwell Banker George want to beef up our commercial real estate activity this year, and then we really want to have it do it right, and that's why we have a meeting every month at the third Wednesday of the month to get together and share information, and occasionally have some keynote speaker to like yourself to talk to us about the commercial real estate.
It's great. I will say, Peter, just so you know, your peers, I mean, we are adding commercial franchises, as you saw from the map, Las Vegas, Flagstaff, Rochester. More and more businesses are saying, hey, if we're going to do commercial, let's do it right. Let's do it robustly. It helps our residential business because our signs are on corners that people see every day. And so there's a really great opportunity. And there's the referrals back and forth, commercial and residential. There's a lot of opportunities that people are just skimming on. So I appreciate your effort to deepen your commercial business.
Yeah, that's our goal. Let's do it together.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. And I look forward to being out there in person at some point in the future, in front of that office at Baldwin and Huntington, or one of your other, I heard you have a nice new office in Alhambra. So maybe in that office. But I look forward to being with you and seeing you seeing you virtually at one of our events coming up in March.
One of the things that I wanted to say, and it's a big thank you, Dan, for being always available to Coldwell Banker George Realty. It was very easy, couple of emails. You're always very warm and very friendly to Coldwell Banker George Realty, and it just only took an email for you to agree to come and give us all the information about CBC, because it's one of my goals this year to make sure that we get a little closer to the Coldwell Banker commercial. And be able to reach out to all of you and have the services from CBC and the benefit to all our agents. You went mute.
About that was my fault there. So absolutely, again, always available. Again, I tell our team, our job is to help you be more successful, be it the company of George or the individual agent. Our job is to make you, I want you doing more deals. I want you to win more listings, represent more buyers, tenants, whatever it may be. So let us know how we can help. I put my email address up there as well. You probably have Lisa's, you now have Jane's. So I hope to hear from you soon.
Great. Wonderful.
Wonderful. If anybody has any other questions, other than that, I mean, it's we ended up the meeting, and I think I want to thank Mr. James Chow that is out there, also one of the owners of the company, and he does quite a bit of mixed use. I mean, residential condominiums on the top and commercial, and we're having a successful coming up in the city of Monterey Park by Atlantic and Emerson. It's a beautiful property being developed by Mr. James Chow, and we'll have that coming into the market towards the end of 2021.
And also, I want to add that James Chow has a property management company by itself, apart from Coldwell Banker George, and that's a very reputable property management company, and we can serve the need of any of the agents in the Coldwell Banker family.
Other than that, I mean, it's been wonderful to see you. Next month, on the third Wednesday of every month, we are having this commercial meeting. You're all invited. You will be getting the invitation. I was so thrilled that over 40 people, 45 people attended our meeting. And we're very excited to make this push again to reorganize our commercial team and make sure that the people that are residential agents that want to become commercial agents go through the training. I am allowing the people to go to the CBC University, so that way you can take the self-paced courses and the LIPSI and all that in order for you to become a commercial agent. So thank you, Lisa, again, for being our best ambassador. We love you to participate with Coldwell Banker George Realty, and thank you for helping me out with Steve Hayashi on that thing. I know that you've been working very hard since I reached out to you yesterday.
Hey, if you've got a minute, Caesar, if you want to hang on, we can try and look at it real quick.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, later on. Perfect. But other than that, I will call this meeting to end, Peter, unless you have something to say. Dan Spiegel, it was wonderful. Once again, a shout out for Kathy Wong for being in the top commercial agents in the nation. And we're very proud to have always top commercial agents, you know, every other year or a year. Coldwell Banker George Realty is always up there.
We want to see you every year. We want to see multiples of you every year.
Thank you again, Dan. And
take care.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Okay.
You too. Take care. Stay warm.
Bye.
Thanks, Dan. Bye. Yeah, people had their finger on that end meeting button. They're like, let me out.
Yeah, let me out, let me out.
Too funny.
But anyway, we're waiting for people to get out because, you know, Lisa and I and Steve might stay a little longer just to make sure maybe I share my screen and I'll show you exactly what we do and how we do it, Lisa.
Yeah, that'd be great because I think I might be able to work through it and save you a lot of time and back and forth with the help desk. Let's hope. Fingers crossed.
So, but anyway, I'm going to share my screen and show you what we do.
Okay.
When we get a new agent, remember that we are a third party, right?
Right.
So what we do, we use a program that is as archaic as they come. And let me see if I can show it to you.
Can you make me a host so that I can, if I need to, I can take over your screen?
How do I do that? Now you're making me difficult, you know.
Click on the participants and then click on my name and then click more. Oh, maybe I can request it from you. Let's see, more. No, all I can do is rename. Click on my name and then click more, and then it should say assign host.
Okay, so more, stop video, spotlight video, make host. Okay, I'll make you a host, but then can I share my screen?
You should be able to. Yeah, I think we'll just both be hosts.
So you're a host.
Oh, well, Here, I'll make you a co-host and then you can share your screen.
Okay.
Oh, you must not be using, are you not using the app? You're probably not using the app. All right, I'll make you host. It won't let me take over your screen then.
Okay, but you can see what I do. This is the program that is running on the back. This is what we input a new agent into it, right? Mm-hmm. And when I go there, we give Steve a commercial setting, you know. No, it does a little crazy things because it goes and connect to Coldwell Banker, you know. And then I did yesterday, went to my dash, I went to people and I looked at Steve and I see nothing wrong, you know, from my side, you know. Mm-hmm. He has all the credentials, all the stuff. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry because I cannot get in. This is the Alhambra, my Alhambra database.
Okay. Go to your dash. Go to your dash.
Yeah, I'm going to go there. And what happened is that I have this and this, but I run everything out of Dash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should be right too, because you guys aren't split out in Dash anymore for whatever reason, but you don't have a separate CBC Dash.
Yeah, so when I go here, I go to people home, then I go to Hayashi, I go to Steve, and I look up at his profile. And then when I go to positions, that's where he is. He is a residential agent and he is a commercial agent, right?
Okay. So go to security.
Then I go to security. And on security, on Dash, he is a sales agent for the Arcadia office.
Right.
Right. And then when you looked up on the other stuff that I need to give him access to it, right? Blueprint, if you go to Blueprint, he does have access as an official office professional. If you go to the other, everything that has career, corporate, CB, Heroes, Imprev, Leads, HUD, Editor.
Go back to Dash for a second. I want to see what his...
Yeah, over on my screen, the pop-up said that you do not have access to Dash. Please contact your administrator or manager to request access.
Right. So go to Dash.
As of now.
So just being an agent, having agent level access to Dash isn't going to give Steve permission to edit his own transactions.
But see, look at it as a sales agent. It allows agents to manage their own listings. This includes the ability to add, update, delete, withdraw, and view listings where they are marked as the listing agent.
Okay, click manage role.
It only asks me to give them offices.
Okay, and then just click apply again. Sometimes that just needs to be refreshed. Mm-hmm. Sales agent read only, transaction coordinator. Okay, and then click save. Okay, and then Steve, when you go into Dash, are you going through My CB Desk or are you going through CBC Desk? Steve, you're on mute.
Steve, are you there?
Yeah. I went through, let me see. I went with CBC.
Okay.
Yeah, and now may I explain to you why I need to get into Dash? One of the main reasons I like to upload my listings to explore to the whole world. When I call for our help desk, and they say I need to go through Dash, and that reason why I found out I cannot even log into the Dash.
Okay, so go to www.mycbdesk.com.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably what the issue is that for whatever reason, we don't have you guys split out into two different dashboards. portals. We just have you under the residential side. You should still be able to do everything. We just don't have you categorized into two separate companies.
Sorry, my battery is running out. I must.
That's how it always happens, right? Right when you
Murphy's Law. No, I understand. Now I noticed that.